Hello, everybody. My name is Shaka Weber, and I am here today with Scott Mewborne to talk about PCS financial preparation so that when you're on your way to a new location, but in this case, specifically the Midlands, you can get yourself set up the right way with your finances before you get into the home buying process. So, Scott, if you don't mind, it'd be best that you introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Shaka, for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. As he said, my name's Scott Mewborne. I was in the Army for 31 years. So I've PCSed a time or two and really look forward to having this conversation today. And I retired in 2018, and I've been a financial planner with First Command Financial Services since I retired in 2018. And First Command is a broker dealer that was created specifically to help military families and their family members, get their finances squared away. So that's what I do for a living every day, and really love to help whomever I can. And I think this is a great conversation. It's very relevant. So again, I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. I wish I had a video, something like this, that was directly pointed at me when I was on my way PCS. And so let's get
Absolutely.
into it. So when a service member receives PCS orders, what
Mm.
should they start thinking about first from a financial preparedness standpoint?
Yeah, it's a great question. Again, I was in the Army for 31 years, so I PCS several times, and I would say that knowing how your BAH, your basic allowance for housing, will change is very important. It could change drastically depending on where you are now and where you're going, of course. You need to know this so you can make an informed decision when you're looking at the cost of housing in the area you're moving to. If you're overseas and coming back to the States, please, please, please know that your COLA, cost of living allowance, is going to go away. We lived in Europe for 9.5 years, and we've had several friends communicate back to us after they got to the States saying, hey guys, you have to plan on COLA going away. If your spouse works, does he or she have a good chance to be able to find a job where you're going? Obviously, that's a huge financial game changer one way or another. So, yeah, there are many things to consider.
Okay, so many service members hear about home loan programs. Can you explain the general purpose of programs designed for military borrowers?
Sure, absolutely. From my experience, getting a VA loan is very advantageous simply because you don't have to make a down payment. Most lenders require you to put down sometimes upwards to 20% of the cost of the home, which obviously is substantial. I will say that VA home inspectors, they have very high standards, and you probably know this, Shaka. And I've heard several realtors say that they can be very demanding when you're buying a home through the VA. But I would say you want your inspector to be very thorough. Um, and as with any contract, the devil's in the details. So just make sure you know all the ins and outs of what your lender is offering you, but not having to pay a down payment. I think is a great advantage for sure.
Yeah, and I was worried about the process of, like they say, winning your home when it came
Mm,
to the inspector coming, because it seemed this was my first house that I bought here, and it came across as if like we went through this whole process, and now when the inspector comes, it's a possibility that we could lose the deal after doing all of the work. But
right.
thankfully, it's like what you just said, where it's a very thorough evaluation of the home so that the money is spent in the right direction. It's not going to go to waste. So that's a really good point about the VA loans. What steps can military families take to understand their financial position before starting the home search?
Yeah, another great question. And I'm going to recommend something that very few people actually enjoy doing, and that's developing a comprehensive and accurate monthly budget. I tell all my potential clients and current clients as well that it would be irresponsible for me to recommend that you do anything different financially going forward if I don't know what's going on right now. So that's where the budget comes into play. And Shaka, I've been doing this, like I say, for 8 years now as a first command financial advisor. And I've had a grand total of two people, two families, after I give them the budget analysis and they return it to me. We meet, get together to go through it. I've had two that say, yep, that's exactly what I thought our budget would be. Everyone else was shocked when you actually do that analysis. And you have to be honest with yourself, obviously. And it's very eye opening and a very worthwhile endeavor because once you have that, though, and you've gone through the painstaking details of putting that together and accounting for every penny. Once you have that, then you can begin to reallocate your money more confidently and with a purpose. Another thing I always tell my clients is if you don't tell your money where to go, it's going to go somewhere. So you need to cut the fat, prioritize the funding of your monthly budget so you can pursue your financial goals going forward. Uh, but to me, that's always the first step. You have to know where your money's going.
Yeah, well, and cut the fat literally, because once you start realizing where you're spending money, you're gonna see
Yeah,
all that fast food and all that other stuff that you buy, and be like,
yeah.
"Man, I spent that much on fast food in 1 year. Oh my
It is
goodness!"
eye opening, I tell you.
Yeah. So, I mean, we set a family budget, probably on my, I don't know, say my second PCS of
Mm,
5, and it really did guide us in a better direction because at the
oh yeah,
time I was only a E4, and I needed to count that money for real because
right.
I didn't get a lot of it. So it was definitely important.
Absolutely.
How so what was that?
I'm just saying, absolutely. You're
Oh,
exactly right.
okay. And how can relocating families evaluate whether renting or purchasing might make more sense for the situation? Because I mean, we're talking about home buying, but they still might be thinking about renting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a huge decision, right? Um, I believe how long you're going to be in the new location is the first question you need to consider. And I know that's kind of tough with military lifestyle and PCSs to know exactly how long you're going to be in a location, but a lot of times you will know. And the rule of thumb is if you're going to be in a location for at least 5 years, you should consider buying a home. Now, that's not a hard and fast rule. Don't hear me saying, oh, we're going to be here for 5 years. Scott said we have to buy a home.
Right.
Don't hear what I'm not saying.
Yeah.
Um, but it's not easy for military families many times to be in a place for 5 years. Um, of course, as you well know, Shaka real estate's about three things, right? Location, location, and location. So if you're looking to buy a house and then maybe rent it out after you PCS, if that's a viable option for you, you have to consider the neighborhood where you're buying the home. Is it an up and coming neighborhood where people in the future are going to be attracted to be coming in there? Or is it an older neighborhood that's kind of showing its age, so to speak? What school zone are you in? Is it conveniently located to different amenities and entertainment areas? I'll tell on myself here, and hopefully, folks can learn from our mistake. We bought a home in Fayetteville, North Carolina, our first duty station as an officer. I was stationed at Fort Bragg, and we knew we were going to be there about 5 years. That's just kind of the way it goes a lot of time. for brand new second lieutenants. But we bought a very nice, small ranch style home, but it was not in one of the nicer neighborhoods, but we had the nicest home in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's good.
So, what may be a better technique just to consider is maybe buying a less expensive house, but in an up and coming neighborhood that you have a good chance of property values appreciating over the next few years. And then you can do some upgrades and some improvements, to your home that'll make it more marketable down the line. But yeah, I would just definitely know how long you're going to be there. A lot of people don't have the stomach to rent their home out and then they PCS 1,000 miles away because that involves property management, et cetera. There's a lot that goes into it. But I've known some folks who have done that throughout my career. But I would say that the main thing is just knowing how long you're going to be there and just kind of weighing all those options.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that didn't have the stomach for
Yeah, me either.
um of buying a house and then, moving away and then
Right,
being the landlord and having somebody else manage it. And like kind of
right.
like what you said as well, I know people who've been successful at it. And
Hmm.
but I just wasn't it wasn't for me. So I decided to
Yeah.
go rent until I got here. And then I
Hmm.
didn't necessarily buy the house, the nicest house on the older block, but I definitely knew that this was going to be my transition home from the
Hmm.
military. So I knew I was
Right.
retiring. So that's why I went on ahead and
Sure.
said, let me go ahead and purchase now. That way I can have
Hmm.
equity far into, my retirement. So
Absolutely.
good stuff.
Smart.
What advice would you have for a service member who's relocating for the first time and considering home ownership?
Yeah. What an exciting time, right? Your first
Yeah.
PCS, everything you own is in boxes and put in the back of a truck and off it goes. It's an adventure. Um, in addition to what we've already talked about, again, analyzing your budget, how long will you be at the new location, etc. I've always thought that it's a really good idea to reach out to your sponsor at your new location and talk with him or her and get their opinion of the area. Of course, that depends on the sponsor you get, right? And hopefully your gain in unit assigns you a sponsor that's been there a while, not somebody that just got there last month. Can't promise that because it does happen. But yeah, definitely reach out to them, ask for their opinions. If they've been there a while, they'll know which neighborhoods are better than others, school districts, etc. And if they haven't been there a long time, or if they're just not offering that helpful of advice, I would ask them to put you in touch with someone who has been in the area for a while. One thing Penny and I, my wife, we always tried to do was make contact with civilians who have lived in that town, in around that area where you're going to be located. Some of them have been there their entire life. And while they're not affiliated with the military, we have found folks to be more than willing to give you their honest advice. And because they really understand the pros and cons of that area. And that was always very beneficial to us. But I think your first point of contact, your first entry point would be with your sponsor.
Yeah. Then the sponsorship program is set up to do just that. And honestly, part of the motivation to start MidlandsMilitaryHomeHub.com was the aspect of that fall through when the mission is a little too heavy on the
Mm,
unit and their sponsor isn't available like they should be.
right. Right.
That's a great way for me to plug our PCS hosts.
Yes.
We're getting people in the local area that are affiliated, whether it be currently or retired, so that when you do reach out, you have somebody that's not distracted by a mission that can actually help you understand the area before you get here. And that
Absolutely.
program is we've already got a few people already interested, so I'm sure it's going to flourish. So that they can also double the information they get from the sponsor and from the PCS host. So
Absolutely.
thank you for that. That's a really good point. Is there anything else that you want to put out there at all?
I don't know if this would, I guess this is a little bit beyond um, financial advice or whether you should buy or rent a home or not. Um, but again, I was in the Army for 31 years. I know you did well over 20. Just from a general perspective, wherever you do PCS2, get out there and see the area. Don't, you know, kind of, if you're on base, don't
Until I
stay on
stay at home,
base.
yeah.
Yeah, get out there, and you may not be the biggest fan of wherever you're located initially. I get it. That can be hard. But trust me, you will warm up to your location much faster if you get out there and explore it, have fun with it, discover what there is to do in and
Yeah.
around your town.
I
That
agree.
will greatly increase your quality of life.
I agree. I've been to so many different. I actually had somebody tell me the infamous Fort Polk was their favorite duty station. Believe that or not,
Hmm.
they must have went out and explored something because
They went out there somewhere.
the resounding opinion about Fort Polk has always been in a negative
Yeah,
direction.
not
So,
great. Yeah, there's
well,
a
look,
couple that
Scott.
have some bad um, stigma to them,
Yeah.
but every place has its pros and cons, its good and bad. So just get out there, make the most of it, and enjoy it.
Absolutely. Well, Scott, I appreciate your time so much.
Thank
And
you.
I'm sure
Yeah, this is
anybody
fun.
watching these videos is going to also learn something from it. And we'll definitely talk about other topics later on down the
Absolutely.
line. But for today, I think we really hit PCS financial preparedness, to at least give them a baseline of where to start with. That family budget is a big one,
That's
and
right.
making sure that you reach out to your sponsor is all good stuff that will
Yeah,
help them prepare for their move. So really appreciate it, and we'll see you again sometime soon. All right,
looking forward to it. Thanks again, Chuck, for the opportunity.
thank you.
Thanks, buddy.